We understood this part, which is location. And now we are into reorganization. So guys, this is a unique feature of Workday. You may not see this anywhere else in any other HCM tool. So what happens? Okay, so what I'll do, I'll take an example of a global company. Let's say we have Alphabet, right? Everyone knows Alphabet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So Alphabet is a parent company of Google, right? And if you see, there are multiple companies which is under Alphabet, right? So any company which is a parent company is considered to be the owner of all its subsidiaries. So for Alphabet, you have Google, then Google has multiple subsidiaries, but it is again falling under Alphabet only. You have Waymo. You may have heard about this company, Waymo. Waymo, what does they do is they are actually trying to produce driverless cars. And it is running, it is at the moment, it is in testing phase in US right now. And I think they also have acquired licenses for a few states, but I really don't know if that is operational or not. But yeah, what I'm trying to give you is trying to give you an example. So all these subsidiaries basically are part of Alphabet. So Alphabet is the mother company, or you can say the parent company for all the companies that you would know. You may know Google, you may know Gmail, then you will have YouTube, right? You have Android. Now, all these are part of Alphabet only. Okay. But there is an entity which is always going to be at the top, which will never come under any kind of reporting. You will not be able to search that when you try to look into it. You will not be able to find that entity when you try to put in a report. So that particular an organization is a kind of an umbrella. Okay. So the bigger your network of companies are, that is the length of the umbrella. So everything has to fall under that umbrella. So that is the use of reorganization. So when Workday was built, it was built for enterprise applications, enterprise level organizations like Google, Facebook. Now Facebook also has a parent company known as Meta, right? Now Amazon also has multiple subsidiaries. You may know Amazon.com, then you have Alexa, you have their e-commerce site. Then basically you would know that there is a Blue Origin, which is a space company also. That also is a part of Amazon only, right? And you have other subsidiaries such as AWS, right? So these are not departments, but these are all individual companies. Okay. And they all fall under one umbrella. And that umbrella in Workday has to be defined. And that is called as reorganization. Even if you are a small company with just 10-15 employees, and if you have implemented Workday, you still have to define the umbrella. Although it does not mean anything for that, but if you are implementing Workday, you will have to define the reorganization. So without reorganization, we will not be able to create company, cost center, or the region, because everything has to fall under that umbrella. Now, location, it is excluded. So that's the reason we did not need reorganization at that point of time. Now, why it is excluded? It is because of the architecture of Workday. This is how it has been designed. We cannot do anything. All right. So this is what we have to now develop. So the task. So the task is very simple: create reorganization. Okay, you see this? And the page will also look very simple. Now you see only one mandatory field that you have. Anyways, you will have to give the date. So the date always becomes mandatory. But apart from that, you have everything which is very irrelevant. What is that? Reorganization name. And what was the code that I used for location? Can you help me with that? Was it WLE?
Yeah, 7.
7, right?
Yeah, underscore Mumbai.
Okay. So yeah, that was the location. Now I'm creating a reorganization, right? So what would you keep? Let's say we are starting with alphabet. Okay. So because, it will be easy for you to relate. And then we have your reorganization date. Let's say we'll go ahead and click on OK. So once we click on OK, you see it is created. We don't have to do anything. But if you see, it has two parts: by activity, by organization. Now, activity basically means if you have any business processes which is related with any of the reorganization, right? It will be in this part, which is activity. You will be able to see that only in this screen. But again, it is not something which everybody would be able to see. I may not have the permissions to see. That is also a possibility. And by organization means the organizations that we discussed. What were the organizations? Predefined, custom, or supervisory. Any changes that you make, that will be captured here. And you will have this mentioned as a reorganization activity. And the organization name will come, that which organization, what activity has been done. Okay. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Great. So this is very important aspect of Workday. You will not find it anywhere else, guys. Now, what is the use? We will see when we go into the further categorization. Now we have created the reorganization. So the next part is, how do we create a company? So the task for that is, again, very simple. Create company. Right? You see this option, create company, and I have another task, create company hierarchy, right? So these two are different business objects. We will come to the hierarchy part also, but not right now. Let's create company first. Now, you see, the first thing it is asking is reorganization, right? So whenever you have to create company, cost center, region, you will need to create a reorganization before that because it's mandatory. You cannot go beyond it. So what was our reorganization that we created? We will search it, we will get it. You will not get this reorganization when you search it in the global search. You will not get it, okay? So you have to remember it. You need to note it down. Whatever you need to do, you need to make sure that you have the idea. So I will note it down in my notepad as well, okay? So that I don't face, okay. So sorry, Josephine, I misunderstood that, you said, I thought that you don't know. Apologies for that.
It's okay. It's okay.
All right. All right. So we have got the reorganization. You see, it is always at the top, the availability date and the company. Now, I can just use Alphabet as a company as well. Okay. Alphabet, Inc., something like that. Okay. And here we have to understand the difference between a private company and a public company as well. So do you know what is a difference between a private and a public company, guys? Because that is something you would need to know. Why? Because it will come some later part of the the course. So the major difference between a private company and a public company is, a private company will be owned by a group of people. Okay, it may be just one owner or maybe a group of owners, and they are not bound to share their finances with anybody. Okay, so whatever revenue is being generated, it will only be known to the finance team and their owners. Other employees may not have a clue about it. But when it is a public company, which means you are listed somewhere in the stock, right? You may have heard about stock exchange, where you buy and sell your shares. So yes, those type of companies are basically public company, where public invests in that organization by buying the shares and selling it, right? So for those companies, sharing the annual balance sheet, the finance details is mandatory. you cannot skip that process. They may have to do it quarterly, half yearly, or annually, whatever the, the best they would think, but they will have to do it. Okay. So generally, we have seen that the company shares all those details quarterly so that they can let their shareholders know how they are doing. Okay. So that is also an important aspect that we have to understand. Now, why I'm telling it to you? Because when we actually build the hierarchy, we will try to understand. We will understand how exactly these things work. All right. Now, you see, I have put the name Alphabet Inc. And then I have put the code. I'm using the code as same code so that I can identify. Okay. That is the only reason why I'm using it. And I can include. Yeah, sorry, please go ahead.
It's by default it will take, or we need to we can put other date as well. It's availability date. By
no, availability date, it will not take by default. You will have to put it. And a lot of companies would not allow you to go back date. Okay. So you may have to use a present date or a future date, but you cannot go back date. This tenant is allowing me to go, but you may have restrictions in the real time. Okay. So you got the code and I'm including that in the name. So the way you see this, okay, you will see the company name also in this way, right? So I've just added INC to make sure that I understand. Okay. So we have code in the name. And when I was discussing the predefined organization, I talked about type and subtype, right? Do you remember?
Yes.
Right. So predefined organizations have type and subtype.
Yes.
So type will always be predefined, but it will be location, company, cost center, region. But as a best practice, Workday suggests that you can use the subtype also same. So when you see this company, if you see this, by default, the subtype is already selected as company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why it is coming by default? Because there is no other option.
Okay.
Okay. If there are more than one option here, then you will not see by default it is selected as company. It may be selected or it may be, shown something else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then the next part is visibility. So do you want your employees to see the name of the company? Of course. So I will put it as everyone. And then you have to define the currency, guys, that your company operates in which currency. So we have used Alphabet and it is operating in US. So I'll put USD. Okay. So this is how a company is formed. Now within this option, you see roles. Now we are going to study this in chapter 6. These are all your security groups and role that we will understand how exactly these are created and why is this assigned. Okay. So right now, even if you're seeing it, just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll click on OK. You see, it says alerts found, right? So I'm sure this is something related to the role itself. So someone has made some changes. Role assignees must be current member of the security group specified. Okay, what I'll do, I will just remove these roles. I really don't need them. Okay, and I'll go ahead and click on OK. Now my company is created. So once you hire somebody, you will see the members. So you have seen this worker, position, and then which department they are, phone, email, location, right? Then if you go into the detail section, you will see the availability date. So when this company started, when it became available, type, subtype, code, visibility, and the currency. Roles and security groups, as I stated, we will see it later in chapter 6. So I just can show you, but right now you see there are 6 roles automatically assigned. I did not assign any, right? But it came automatically. So why it happens, that we will see later. Similarly, the same thing for the security groups also, 5. So how did it come? That we will see later. Clear? Everyone is now clear on how to create a company? Okay, guys, so this is an independent individual company. We don't have any subsidiaries as of now. Okay, so this is just how we create a company. Similarly, we have cost center. And we understood what is the use of cost center. Anybody can help me understand what is the use of cost center? I explained it to you, I think, a couple of days back.
Yes, like a cost center is like every department, they have their own cost center. Like based on that, they have their finance, like it's related to finance for the particular team.
Yes, correct. Anything else anybody wants to add?
Cash will flow from here, like to all the departments.
So guys, whatever financial transactions we do, okay, any department, if they are paying the salary to their employees, right, it will be paid through the cost center, right? So the mapping of cost center will let us know that which department has consumed how much amount, which department is earning how much amount, and if I go ahead and do a P&L, profit and loss, right? If I prepare the balance sheet, I'll come to know that from where and which department is spending. If they are a revenue earning team, if they are able to generate enough revenue, if they are not, then, you know, all these things are a matter of concern, because cost center becomes a very important aspect for bigger reporting. Bigger reporting, what does that mean? That if you go ahead and do a balance sheet or P&L statements, if you generate, it is drilled down in the sense, let's say under technology department, I'm an IT services company, and under technology I have multiple different sub departments, right? So which department has more people on bench? If they are on bench, what are we doing with them? Are we training them? Are we actually trying to assign them on a different project? If we are not able to assign them onto different project, and if we are not also giving any training, why are we keeping them, right? So some departments will be short of people. There will be so much of requirements and we are not able to fulfill it. So they will see the feasibility. Can these people who are on bench, can be moved into that department, right? So all those things are actually taken. The decision is taken on the basis of finances, on the basis of cost center. And all this data will come through cost center only. Okay. So that's the reason cost center becomes very important part. And as we are starting it, so the task for that is create cost center. Now you see again, what you're getting is reorganization. Because at the end of the day, it is always the top management who is going to look at it. Okay, so you got alphabet. I'll click on OK. Okay, now you see this. We have the name. Now you see availability date. It came automatically, and the reorganization. It will only be seen here. If you want to see it anywhere else, you will not be able to get it. Okay, you can't. Okay, so let's say which department we want to start first. Let's say technology. All right, and I'll add a code, WLE7 underscore, include the code. Again, the subtype, you see, we don't have any other value. So that's the reason you only see cost center. Again, visibility, you want to put it for everyone, that's fine. And then you see this option, external URL, right? Now, external URL is something which is not used by majority of the organization. You saw that in the company also. What does that mean? That you want to access these items outside of your network. Basically, this is for security, right? So if you want to access something outside of your network, then you can use this, but it is not advisable. And why? Because you have sensitive information, which is not required to be accessed outside the network. So it's better to not use it. All right. And you see this option which says restricted to companies. Now, you may have multiple companies under one umbrella, right? Under one reorganization. And let's say you want to restrict this particular cost center to a specific company. Then you will have to mention it. Okay. But right now, we only have one company, so I'm not restricting it. Here, there will be a challenge. Now, you see this option, related work tags. Now, there is a setting issue. Someone has made the work tag as default required. Okay. Now, this is a setup which someone has changed. So we'll have to give a value here. Basically, division is a custom organization. So someone wants, whoever the owner of the tenant is, or someone who has got a privilege of security administrator, if you have the division, right, they want you to specify that this cost center that you're creating, which is that division where you're going to use it. And that's the reason you have this option, right? We don't need to use it, but we will not be able to create, or we will not be able to create a cost center if we don't put the value, because this is put as required. So if I click on OK, I'll get an error, right? You see that? The default work tag is required and must have a value. So just to create this cost center, I have to put a value. In real-time system, you will not face these challenges. So for the moment, I'm just going to put anything. Okay, so don't worry why I have put this value. Okay, so please ignore this. It is just to create the cost center.
Okay.
In real time, it is not required.
Okay, and I mean, this scenario won't come, you are saying, right? Default required and all.
No, it would come. I'm not saying that it may not come, but in our tenant, it is not required. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
But someone has put it as required, so you have to put the value.
Okay, but why someone? Because you are creating this cost center and somebody else's setting. Why it is?
I am not the owner of this tenant, right? I am not the security administrator.
But they are not independent of this. When the cost center is not independent, why it is getting? You are saying you are not. Why this setting is?
Let me explain it to you.
Yeah.
This is a practice tenant. So I am not the only person who is using this tenant, right?
Okay.
So this may be used by somebody, and somebody has made the changes in the backend. That whenever you have to create a cost center, you have to put a
division. Need a division. Okay.
Right.
So this is coding. Again, this is a coding.
Not coding. Again, it's a configuration.
Okay.
It's a setting. Someone would have made that field as mandatory or required.
So we'll be able to see this setting?
No, we won't. That is the problem. I don't have that access. Otherwise, I would have changed it. So this is what I wanted to explain you. And now I can go ahead and click on OK, and you will see that my cost center is created. Okay. So again, the same things, details, roles, security groups, that's it. And now you are getting the related work tag. So you can ignore this. Just ignore this section because it is not at the moment required for us. We will understand this when we go to custom organization. Right. So what have we completed up till now? We have completed location, company, cost center. Now, what is the use of region? Do you understand what is region? Let's say my company started in US, and let's say it started somewhere in California, maybe San Francisco. I'm just giving an example. Okay. Now that's the west coast of United States. I moved to eastern coast as well. Let's say I moved to Connecticut. And then I am also starting my new office or new business, the same business, but I have an independent office in Chicago, which is in Illinois, right? I have another one in Florida. So now my offices are spread in different area of US, correct?
Okay.
If I am a food chain supplier, let's say I am a company called Walmart, or let's say I'll take an example of Haldiram. Haldiram is a very famous food chain in India and also in different parts of the globe, right? So let's say I started my head office or headquarters in Delhi. I moved to Srinagar, then Shimla, then Chandigarh, and then, Jaipur, Lucknow, Patna, Guwahati, Dispur, Assam, all these places, right? Now it is very difficult for me to manage from one place, which is your headquarter, right? So what I will do, I will open up regional offices, okay? So that the administration and handling of the organization is easy. So in those cases, what I will do, I will go ahead and create and divide the organization into different regions. This is only for one country. If I'm operating in only one country, I will have northeast, west, south, whatever the regions are. But let's say if I'm operating in different parts of the globe, right? So the globe is divided basically into three major areas. You may have heard about AMER. AMER stands for America region, right? So you have North America, South America. You have EMEA, which is Europe, Middle East, Africa, right? Then you have APAC region. We also now call it as Indo-Pacific, not Asia-Pacific, but it is more like an Indo-Pacific region. So what is that? You have the countries like China, Japan, right? Then you have Singapore, India, Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand. That is an APAC region. Now, if you go into EMEA region, you have the complete Europe, then the Middle East, and then the Africa continent itself. So imagine how many countries are there. If you are in all the countries, even if you have one offices in each country, imagine how many offices would be there, how many locations would be there. So it is not easy to manage it from San Francisco, California. So for each region, you will have a regional office, and that regional office will actually report to the headquarters. Even in US, if you are into different areas, as I stated, west, east, north, south, then there also you have to divide it into regions. Otherwise, your efficiency of the organization would decrease. And that's the reason we call or we create regions. Okay, so this is how we go ahead and create a region. So for that, the task is create a region. Now, very simple. Again, everything that you're going to create, it will be falling under your reorganization because they are the ultimate owners. Click on OK. Then you see the name. So for the moment, I can use AMER because Alphabet, I have generally kept it as America region. Again, I will put the code to identify because there could be so many AMER region. Include the name. And then you see the subtype. It is region, visibility. I'll put it everyone. And then I'll click on OK. Let's see if there is any default work tag. Yeah, again, location has been put as a default work tag. Okay, so for that purpose, let me change the location and change the region because our location is in Mumbai. So we will use that as APAC. Okay, and we will try to find the location which we created. Let's see. Right, I got the location and I'll go ahead and click on OK. So these are the settings. Someone may change it. If those are not required, you can just click and create it without that. Okay. So if you see in the details part, you will see all this information. Clear? So this is the way how we go ahead and create the predefined organization, which is basically your location, company, cost center, and the region, right? Have you all understood this section? Is there any confusion, guys? So I'll just change it so that I remember what I have created. 7, right? Underscore alphabet. So now I am going into hierarchy, right? So this is the first hierarchy that you're seeing, okay? You see under technology department, I have core technology, data sciences, ERP. Under core technology, I have further 3 departments, C++ department, Java, and .NET. Under data sciences, I have further 3 departments, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data sciences. Under ERP, I have Workday, PeopleSoft, and Oracle, right? Now you see, each department will have a cost center associated with it, right? So now, how do we actually put that into hierarchy? That is what we have to do. If you will use the independent cost centers, you will not be able to do it. So what was the independent cost centers that I created? WLE7 underscore.
WLE.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I mistyped. Yes. Technology cost center, right? Now, if I try to create anything below it, I will not get that option basically. Why? Because if I click on reorganization, you see this is a reorganization. I'm not getting any option. So for that purpose, I will have to create the hierarchy. Okay. And for that purpose, my task will change. Now I am creating a cost center hierarchy. So the task will be create cost center hierarchy. Okay. This is my task, create cost center hierarchy. And what I'll do, of course, you will have to put the reorganization. Whatever you create in the organization chapter, guys, you will have to use the reorganization. So don't ever forget that. Click on OK. I can use technology also because what I created earlier was an independent cost center, right? But what I am creating right now is a hierarchy. I can start with technology. There is no problem. It will not say that you already have a technology item created. Okay, let me show it to you. Include code in the name, subtype. Now you see in the hierarchy, do you see a lot of options coming up? Area, cost center, department, function, specialty, top. But what I have to choose as per the best practice? That's a question for you guys. As a best practice, what Workday recommends?
Department.
Cost center.
It's a cost center. Okay, that will always remain same. You can't do anything with that. Now I have to put the visibility. So I'll put everyone again. See, in this, they have not put the work tag as mandatory and they have not put any role also. So this is not going to be a headache for us. I'll go ahead and click on OK and I'll be able to create a cost center hierarchy. Okay. Now, when I have to create a hierarchy under technology, what did we saw in the diagram? We had core technology, data sciences, and ERP. So 3 sub-departments, which is below technology. We don't call it as department. Basically, it's a cost center. Okay. So I'll click on actions. Then again, I'll have to go to reorganization guys. And then you see create subordinate. You see that?
Okay.
When you were going into the independent cost center, this option was not coming there. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I just showed it to you, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is very important that you have to create the subordinate. And this is how you will be able to create the hierarchy. Now under technology, let's say I am creating a cost center called ERP. WLE7 underscore. You have to be very careful while typing the code. Otherwise, sometimes you will face that. What have I done? Then you see include organization code. Yes. Organization subtype. It is mandatory if you see. Now, again, it is cost center, guys. This will not change. All right. And now I'll submit. Now, what does that mean? When I'm submitting, so someone in the backend, I'm not saying a person, but there is a process which actually helps us in creating the subordinate. Okay, this is my individual cost center. It is not showing the type as cost center hierarchy. So now if I search WLE7, I'll get cost center and cost center hierarchy. You see this?
Yeah.
Cost technology as cost center and WLE7 technology cost
Cost
center
center
hierarchy. So this is my first node, and then I have the subordinate. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I want to see that tree structure, that also I can see. I'll click on actions and you see this option which says org chart.
Yeah.
I'll click on it. I'll see this in this structure.
Yeah.
So under technology, I got ERP. Okay.
Yeah.
So in case I want to go ahead and build another loop or hierarchy, let's say under ERP, I want to build another sub-department, which is Workday or Oracle or Fusion, whatever. I can just click on this 3 dots, which is actions, go to reorganization.
Okay.
Again, I can create subordinate and there is no limit to that.
Okay.
Okay. If I want to build something below technology, again, I'll click on these actions.
Reorganization.
Reorganization and create
Create.
subordinate. This is how exactly it works. So I'll not create more. I just wanted to explain you how exactly the hierarchies are created. Okay, so guys, this is how we create a hierarchy. So I got technology, and below technology, I created a department called ERP. So ERP is a little relevant for us. That's the reason I created. If you want to create anything below that, again, the same process. I can go ahead and click on this and then create it. I can also do it from this place. I can go into this department, basically the cost center. You see the superior, it says technology, but I'm into ERP right now. And I'll click on actions. Again, I can go into this option where it says reorganization and create a subordinate. Right. So there is an option called hierarchy also. See, if you see this, navigate hierarchy or view as a tree, you can click on this. Right. So here you will see options, org chart that I've shown it to you. Right. And if you want to go to and see the navigate hierarchy, you can click on this also. Again, you will see the same structure. Clear? So this actually helps you when your structure is very big, right? Okay, guys. So I think we can call it a day today. We will meet tomorrow and complete the rest of the hierarchy. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, great day.